Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna,
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances, all the devotees on the call. Please forgive me for stopping your chanting. It's time for Srimad Bhagavatam session. Shamarasika Mataji, I think I don't see Mataji on the call.
Yes, Mataji, I'm messaging her now.
Okay. Accepting all the things and conditions favorable to the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and reject all the things unfavorable to the chanting. Krishnera smarane thaki kataye jivana. Nirantara harinama karena smarana. He should seek out the association of Nama Parayana, pure chanters, devotees, and in their association constantly chant and remember the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna. Once again, my humble obeisances to all the devotees on the call. May I know who all have joined the call?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanva Pranama, Glory to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, Deshimani Das.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Nikunjara Sadat from Germantown.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, and all the assembled devotees and ourselves. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shamarasika Devi Sarasi from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining. I think Mataji has joined. Hare Krishna. I welcome all to Everyday Chant Harinam Conference call. We are very fortunate to have our guest, Amrut Madhavii Devi Dasi Mataji from Bangalore, India, to enlighten us on verse 59 of chapter 16, canto 6. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the session whenever you are
Hare
ready.
Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances too. I would like to pray, but before that, I have opened it in my laptop. Today I'm elsewhere and I need to open that particular page I have opened. Now I want to share screen so that I will be reading from the screen. Just a minute. If it is in the same this, it will open now. Share screen. Host has disabled screens sharing. Okay. Can you allow me to share the screen, dear Mataji? Host has enabled screen share please. Or else I think I should, I don't know.
I think the best option is to make you host, Mataji.
Yes, you can.
So,
Yes, you
Manidhar
can make.
Prabhu, can we do that?
Yes, Mataji, you can go on the right corner.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
There are 3 dots there.
Mataji, I made you host. Now you can check.
Okay, good. I'm just opening the site in another browser so that I can share the screen. Yes. Now I am in the right place, I think. Yes, I am there. No, oh, what happened? Where am I now? Yeah, I'm here, yes. Now I do screen share. Share sound. Optimize video clip. Share. I had to open this one, I think. No, not this. This one. Yes. Yes, it's perfect. So now let us pray first. You all can see things right? Hare Krishna, can you all hear me?
Yes.
You can hear and you can see. Okay. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताकस्वामिनिति नामिने नमः आचार्यपादाय निताय कृपाप्रदायिने गौरकथा दामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा रामा हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत्. Yes, so we are going to do Canto 6, Chapter 16, Text 59 now. Samritvehayaam pariklesham tata phala viparyayam abhayam chapi anihayam sankalpad viramit kavihi. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Remembering the great trouble found in the field of activities performed for fruitive results, and remembering how one receives the reverse of the results one desires, whether from material actions or from fruitive activities recommended in the Vedic literatures, an intelligent person should cease from the desire for fruitive actions, for by such endeavors one cannot achieve the ultimate goal of life. On the other hand, if one acts without desires for fruitive results, in other words, if one engages in devotional activities, he can achieve the highest goal of life with freedom from miserable conditions. Considering this, one should cease from material desires. So, what's happening here is Supreme Lord Sankarshana is speaking in reply to the beautiful prayers done by Maharaja Chitraketu. So, he is saying here very clearly that one should give up all fruitive activities and desires for fruitive results and should simply engage in devotional activities. There is no purport. So, all the next verses don't have a purport. So we will be just reading the translations slowly and trying to understand till the end of the chapter. It's the same. 6th canto, 16th chapter, verse number 16. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya kurvate dampati kriyaha tato nivrittir apraptir dukkasya cha sukhasya cha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. As a husband and wife, a man and woman plan together to attain happiness and decrease unhappiness, working jointly in many ways. Because their activities are full of desires, these activities are never a source of happiness and they never diminish distress. On the contrary, they are a cause of great unhappiness. No purport, but see, it's so beautiful. It says that every man and a woman come together in the form of marriage, and they only try to endeavor to become happy and to not become unhappy. They try in many ways jointly, but because they're so full of desires to be happy, to be happy, to be happy, as long as they're full of desires looking forward for their happiness, their activities which are intending to get happiness will never get that happiness and they will never diminish the distress. Then what does it do? They become the cause of great unhappiness. How they become the great cause of great unhappiness is because when we are really wanting happiness, if we don't get, then we feel really distressed. But if we are not looking for happiness, then when distress comes, if we are prepared for it, then there is no distress. Or if we are not looking for happiness, distress comes, we don't feel so bad because we were not looking for happiness and distress came. We just have to somehow deal with distress. But if we are prepared for distress and not looking for happiness, and if rather than looking for distress, if we say whatever Krishna gives in the form of distress or in the form of happiness, I will accept it only as an opportunity to serve Krishna favorably in that situation, in whatever I am put into. I repeat, if we have the attitude that no matter distressful situation comes, or a joyful situation comes, my goal is to not look for joy or not look for avoiding distress or not to be prepared for distress, but it is to see either in distress or in joy how now I can serve Krishna favorably. If this is the mood of the devotee, then that devotee is going to be happy in all circumstances. Like some of our spiritual masters, including Srila Prabhupada, was so much physically sick, but he was never mentally sick. He was always in a transcendental, happy state of mind. And so are our spiritual masters. These days, we have seen many people leaving their body due to cancer, etc. But they left the world writing beautiful books of how to be happy in distress. So, this is the example that Krishna conscious devotees are giving us as a proof that Krishna consciousness means that as long as we are conscious of serving Krishna favorably, to that extent that we are wanting to serve Krishna favorably, we are Krishna conscious, means in our conscious only Krishna and service, favorable service to Krishna is filled. If in our consciousness favorable service to Krishna is alone filled, that means that particular consciousness is non-different from Krishna himself. When that consciousness is same as Krishna himself. It is like being with supremely happy, supremely attractive, supreme personality of Godhead along with us. So how can there be distress? If we really want to avoid distress, then we should from now focus on fully thinking of how now and how in every moment I can do my service to Guru and Krishna as favorably as possible, no matter in what situation I am put into by the loving hands of my Supreme Lord. If this is the attitude, then we are always happy. Even if physically we are in pain, we understand that there is pain, but in our thoughts, in this pain, how now I can serve? Is it possible? Krishna, please help me to not focus on the pain, but on focusing on how now when I'm alive, I can do something to please you. If this is the mode, then how can we be unhappy? This is the only way to be happy in this material world. That is why in the previous verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sankarshana says, give up your desires to enjoy fruitive results and focus on devotional service. Devotional service means this is what we now said. This is what is the consciousness that we have to maintain. So we proceed to the next. There won't be purport, so I will be just reading the translations. Canto 6, chapter 16, verses 61 and 62. Evam viparyayam buddhva drunam vichnaabhimaninam atmanascha gatim sukshmam स्थानत्रय विलक्षणाम् दृष्टश्रुताभिर्मात्राभिर्निर्मुक्तस्वेन तेजसा ज्ञानविज्ञानसन्तृप्तो मद्भक्ता पुरुषो भवेत्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. One should understand that the activities of persons who are proud of their material experience bring only results contradictory to those such persons conceive while awake, sleeping, and deeply sleeping. One should further understand that the spirit soul, although very difficult for the materialist to perceive, is above all these conditions. And by the strength of one's discrimination, one should give up the desire for fruitive results in the present life and in the next. Thus, becoming experienced in transcendental knowledge, one should become my devotee. So, Prabhupada is saying we have to use the power of our discrimination and give up desires to enjoy in the present life and also in the next. Means we should not plan to do activities so that we can go to heaven. So we should only plan to serve. So with that discrimination, we should become Krishna's devotee. Go to the next shloka. 6th canto, chapter 16, verse 63. Etavan eva manujair yoganaipunya buddhibihi swartha sarvatmana jneyo yat paratmaika darshanam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Persons who try to reach the ultimate goal of life must expertly observe the Supreme Absolute Person and the living entity, who are one in quality in their relationship as a part and whole. This is the ultimate understanding of life. There is no better truth than this. So Prabhupada, here Supreme Personality of Godhead is saying that if we really want to go back to Godhead, we must observe Lord Krishna as Supreme and we as his tiny part. When we understand We are his tiny part, and we are not somebody's wife or husband or child or father or mother. When we focus on our relationship with the supreme whole, supreme personality of Godhead, completely, when we focus only on our relationship with the Lord, and when we see all others in the family are his parts and parcels, and in that understanding, that is going to be the ultimate understanding. Because even now, if I see myself, I know that I am Krishna's part and parcel, but I'm not all the time conscious of that. That is why I have not reached the ultimate understanding of life. We know it all, but we are somewhere drowning in the thoughts of our relationship with our kith and kin. So we have to daily endeavor to chant nicely. At least during chanting, we have to think that it's our service to our master, of whom we are part and parcel, and then it will become a slowly a habit. And so now actually I am able to think that my life is to serve my spiritual master's mission. And I'm all the time thinking of how to serve spiritual master's mission. In every activity I try to, even if I'm cooking or cleaning or anything, I think that I should be doing these things to please Krishna, but I'm cooking here for family and according to my taste. So let me wind up this fast and save time and do something out for my sadhana, which will please my guru. At least that much I'm able to think. But during cooking, I may get lost in the cooking, thinking what taste will be best, etc. So unless we come to the point of all the time being conscious of thinking that how this activity can please Krishna, when we come to that point, that is the ultimate understanding of life, says Supreme Personality of Godhead to Maharaja Chitraketu. 6th Canto, 16th chapter, verse 64. Tvametat Shraddhaya Rajan Apramatto Vacho Mama Jnana Vijnana Sampanno Dharayannashu Siddhyasi. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, if you accept this conclusion of mine, being unattached to material enjoyment, adhering to me with great faith, and thus becoming proficient and fully aware of knowledge and its practical application in life, you will achieve the highest perfection by attaining me. So you see, finally, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sankarshana, says that we have to be unattached to material enjoyment, and we should be all the time thinking of how to please Krishna with great faith. We should have complete faith that my life is for my master Krishna and for my spiritual master. So I have to be living to please them. And I have no other source of happiness, neither do I want any other source for happiness. So, if we have full faith in this, and then if we are fully aware that I am his part and parcel, and if we are trying our best to apply this knowledge by every moment, even when we cook, even when we want to give it a good taste, how if it tastes it will be pleasing to Krishna, rather than thinking it will be nice, I like it if it is a little spicy, my husband will not like it if it is more spicy. Rather than such thoughts, if we can say, if my master will be pleased with this much spice, and how I can make it best sattvikally to please my master, my supreme Lord. If we can think like that with that knowledge, practically, if we can apply in every moment of life, then he says you will achieve the highest perfection. How? Because he will attain me. When we attain Krishna, we achieve highest perfection. 6th Canto, chapter 16, verse 65. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ashwasya Bhagavan Ittam Chitraketum Jagadguruhu Pashytastasya Vishwatma Tataschantardade Hari. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Sri Shukadev Goswami continued, after thus instructing Chitraketu and assuring him of perfection. In this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Spiritual Master, the Supreme Soul, Sankarshana, disappeared from that place as Chitraketu looked on. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of 6th canto, 16th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled King Chitraketu Meets the Supreme Lord. So the chapter ends here with the disappearing Leela of Supreme Personality of Godhead Sankarshana from the vision of Chitraketu. Chitraketu was looking, he was hearing with great joy, and Supreme Personality of Godhead was speaking and speaking and guiding, and he vanishes as Chitraketu was looking. So we move to the next topic, wherein we get to hear if he was so wonderful personality, why he became a demon. Next chapter answers that. Chapter 17. Mother Parvati curses Chitraketu. Let's hear the story of the entire chapter now. The 17th chapter is summarized as follows. This chapter describes Chitraketu's receiving the body of an asura or demon because of joking with Lord Shiva. After personally talking with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, King Chitraketu enjoyed life in his airplane with the women of the Vidyadhara planet. Engaging in the congregational chanting of the glories of the Lord, he began flying his plane and traveling in outer space. One day, while traveling like this, he wandered into the bowers of Sumeru mountain, where he came upon Lord Shiva embracing Parvati, surrounded by an assembly of Siddhas, Charanas, and great sages. Seeing Lord Shiva in that situation, Chitraketu laughed very loudly, but Parvati became very angry at him and cursed him. Because of this curse, Chitraketu later appeared as the demon Vritrasura. Chitraketu, however, was not at all afraid of Parvati's curse, and thus he spoke as follows. Everyone in human society enjoys happiness and distress according to his past deeds, and in this way travels in the material world. Therefore, no one is responsible for his happiness and distress. One is controlled by the influence of material nature in the material world, yet one thinks himself the doer of everything. In this material world, which is made of external energy of the Supreme Lord, one is sometimes cursed and sometimes favored, and thus he sometimes enjoys in the upper planetary systems and sometimes suffers in the lower planets. Because all these situations are the same, because they are within this material world. None of these positions has any factual existence, for all of them are temporary. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate controller because the material world is created, maintained, and annihilated under his control, while he nonetheless remains neutral to these different transformations of the material world in time and space. The material external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in charge of this material world. The Lord helps the world by creating situations for living entities within it. When Chitraketu spoke in this way, all the members in the great assembly, in which Lord Shiva and Parvati were present, were astonished. Then Lord Shiva began speaking about the devotees of the Lord. A devotee is neutral in all conditions of life, whether in the heavenly planets or hellish planets. whether liberated from the material world or conditioned by it, and whether blessed with happiness or subjected to distress. These are all merely dualities created by the external energy. Being influenced by the external energy, the living entity accepts a gross and subtle material body, and in this illusory position, he apparently suffers miseries, although everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The so called demigods consider themselves independent lords, and in this way they are misled from understanding that all living entities are part of the Supreme. This chapter concludes by glorifying the devotee and the Supreme Personality of God. Text 1. So, this is the summary, and we will not explain this now because we will do this when we speak the verses. Text 1. Canto 6, chapter 17, text number 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yataschantarhitontas Yataschantarhitonantas Tasyai Krittvadishe Namaha Vidyadharaschitraketus Chachara Gaganecharaha. Srila Shukadev Goswami said, translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Srila Shukadev Goswami said, after offering obeisances to the direction from which Ananta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had disappeared, Chitraketu began traveling in outer space as the head of the Vidyadharas. So, when he vanished in the direction which he vanished, Chitraketu does pranams and he starts to travel. He is the head of the Vidyadharas, so he starts his travel on the airplane. Canto 6, chapter 17, text 2 and 3. Salaksham Varshalakshanam Salaksham Varshalakshanam Avyahata Balendriyaha Stuyamano Mahayogi Munibhi Siddhacharanaihi Kulachalendra Droneshu Nana Sankalpa Siddhisu Reme Vidyadhara Stribir Gapayan Harimishwaram. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Being praised by the great sages and saints and by the inhabitants of Siddhaloka and Sharanaloka, Chitraketu, the most powerful mystic yogi, wandered about enjoying life for millions of years with bodily strength and senses free from deterioration. He traveled within the valleys of Sumeru mountain, which is the place of perfection for various kinds of mystic power. In those valleys, he enjoyed life with women of Vidyadhara Loka by chanting the glories of Supreme Lord Hari. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. It is to be understood that Maharaja Chitraketu, although surrounded by beautiful women from Vidyadhara Loka, did not forget to glorify the Lord by chanting O Krishna. It is to be understood that Maharaja Chitraketu, although surrounded by beautiful women from Vidyadhara Loka, did not forget to glorify the Lord by chanting the holy name of the Lord. It has been proved in many places that one who is not contaminated by any material condition, who is a pure devotee, engaged in chanting the glories of the Lord, should be understood to be perfect. So you see, Prabhupada is very clearly explaining who is perfect or who is to be understood as perfect. If someone is not going up or down due to the conditions which is around him, but he is always focused on glorifying the Lord, then that person who is always glorifying the Lord is considered to be perfect. We can be glorifying the Lord by hearing about the Lord with all admiration, with full absorption. If we are nicely hearing, with feeling great joy to hear about Krishna's glories, that's also glorification by hearing. But after hearing, we can be meditating in our mind or in appreciation, in admiration about the Lord and or in gratitude towards the Lord. And then we can be speaking about the Lord with all admiration and all gratitude. If we are all the time either hearing or remembering or speaking the glorification of the Lord with full absorption or with full gratitude or with full admiration or with admiration and gratitude and appreciation, if we are glorifying, then we are to be understood as perfect. So we should aspire to reach there. Next, Canto 6, Chapter 17, verses 4 and 5. Ekada savimanena Vishnudattena bhasvata Girisham dadrishe gachan Paritam siddhacharanaihi Alingyanki kritam devim Bahunamuni samshadi Uvacha devya shrinvantya Jahashochaistad antike. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. One time, while King Chitraketu was traveling in outer space on a brilliantly effulgent airplane given to him by Lord Vishnu, he saw Lord Shiva surrounded by Siddhas and Charanas. Lord Shiva was sitting in an assembly of great saintly persons, embracing Parvati on his lap with his arm. Chitraketu laughed loudly and spoke within the hearing of Parvati. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says in this connection, Bhaktim bhutim harir dattva swavichedhanubhutaye devya shapena vritratvam nitva tam swantikena yat. The purport is that Supreme Personality of Godhead wanted to bring Chitraketu to Vaikuntha Loka as soon as possible. Lord's plan was that Chitraketu be cursed by Parvati to become Ritrasura so that in his next life he could quickly return home back to Godhead. There have been many instances in which a devotee acting as a demon has been brought to the kingdom of God by the mercy of the Lord. For Parvati to be embraced by Lord Shiva was natural in a relationship between husband and wife. There was nothing extraordinary for Chitraketu to see. Nonetheless, Chitraketu laughed loudly to see Lord Shiva in that situation, even though he should not have done so. Thus, he was eventually cursed, and this curse was the cause of his returning back home, back to Godhead. So you see, just a few minutes before, we were telling you that it's not important that we should be in only happy situations, or it's not also important that we await a miserable situation, or it's also that we should be prepared for any negative situation in our life. But the goal should be not that we await a good situation or await a situation which is bad, thinking it is mercy of the Lord, or we be prepared for anything bad. It's not that. It's that all the times we should have one thought in our mind, that how in any situation I can serve my Supreme Master with the best of my ability, with the best of the attitude, which will please my most respectable, most beloved spiritual master, and which will please my Supreme Master, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if our attitude is how to please Krishna in any situation, then that is the best attitude. So Prabhupada is saying that Supreme Personality of Godhead found Chitraketu as a very nice devotee. So he wanted him to come back soon. So he organized personally, probably he has gifted his airplane for this purpose, we do not know. So it is the airplane gifted by Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And that airplane became the cause of he flying above Lord Shiva's abode and seeing and laughing, which he should not have done. Prabhupada says he should not have done. But because for a husband to hug the wife is something very natural, there's nothing to laugh. But it was the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he should fly, he should see, he should laugh, he should get cursed, so that. So, was he so cruel? No. It was his love that he wanted Chitraketu like adorable devotee back in his abode at the earliest. So he wanted him to come as Vritrasura, a devotee demon, and fight and come quickly back to Supreme Personality's abode. That was the plan. So this was all transcendental plan of the Lord, and Chitraketu turned out also to be so transcendental because he could take it so beautifully, which you will be seeing in future verses. He could take the curse of Mother Parvati so transcendentally with understanding that distress and happiness are the dualities. Only conditioned souls will appreciate or criticize these dualities. But for devotees, it does not matter. Because even if we are cursed, we go to metal world, it's a temporary thing. Even if you're not cursed, you come down because of your own desires, that's also a temporary thing. Then why should we worry? That kind of a beautiful attitude Chitraketu had. We will come across that in future. Let's see. Canto 6, chapter 17, verse number 6. Chitraketuruvacha Esha Loka Guru Sakshad Dharmam Vakta Sharirinam Aste Mukhya Sabhayam Vai Mithuni Bhuya Bharyaya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Chitraketu said, Lord Shiva, the spiritual master of the general populace, is the best of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. He enunciates the system of religion, yet how wonderful it is that he is embracing his wife Parvati in the midst of an assembly of great saintly persons. So now we will get to know the heart of Chitraketu, which we could not know in the summary. It was very short. Now we will get to know more details. You see, he is having full respect for Lord Shiva. His laughter was not actually an insult, that we will come to know. It was not an insult, it was he had his own understanding, his own reason to laugh. And you see how much respect he has. He says he's the spiritual master of general populace. And he says he's the best of the living entities. And he says he's the one who enunciates the system of religion. And he's saying, see how nicely he's embracing in the assembly of saintly persons. Let's see what else he has to say. Canto 6, chapter 17, text number 7. Jata dharastivratapa brahmavadi sabhapatihi Ankikritya striyam chaste gatahri prakrito yatha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Lord Shiva, whose hair is matted on his head, has certainly undergone great austerities and penances. Indeed, he is the president of in the assembly of strict followers of Vedic principles. Nonetheless, he is seated with his wife on his lap in the midst of saintly persons and is embracing her as if he were a shameless, ordinary human being. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Chitraketu appreciated the exalted position of Lord Shiva, and therefore he remarked at how wonderful it was that Lord Shiva was acting like an ordinary human being. He appreciated Lord Shiva's position, but when he saw Lord Shiva sitting in the midst of saintly persons and acting like a shameless ordinary man, he was astonished. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura remarks that although Chitraketu criticized Lord Shiva, he did not offend Lord Shiva like Daksha. Daksha considered Lord Shiva insignificant, but Chitraketu expressed his wonder at Lord Shiva's being situated in that way. So you see what Chitraketu is saying, as we just now saw, that he's in full of appreciation, seeing him as a great spiritual master for general populace. He's very honoring him, and he's saying that he is undergoing so many austerities. Shiva is not ordinary. He's doing so many penances, and he's the leader of the assembly of very strict followers. But look at him sitting in the assembly of such saintly persons, being the leader and embracing, as if he's shameless. Means it is a fond, appreciative laughter. Actually, sometimes we also laugh at our kids' innocent behaviors, right? Here it's not innocent behavior. Here he is very amused by such a great personality. He knows everything, and see him what he's doing in this assembly, like that, you know. So sometimes men have their way of laughing out loud. That is a bit manly kind of laughter, which he actually didn't mean to insult Shiva or something. It was just that he was very respectful and he felt a bit amused, and for that he laughed. And what to do? So Lord Shiva didn't feel offended because Lord Shiva knew he had full respect. So we see the next verse. Canto 6, chapter 17, text number 8. With this verse, we end for today. Okay. If you have any questions, then we can continue. Canto 6, chapter 17, text number 8. Prayasha prakritaschapi striyam rahasi bibrati ayam mahavratadharu bibharti sadasi striyam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Ordinary conditioned persons generally embrace their wives and enjoy their company in solitary places. How wonderful it is that Lord Mahadeva, although a great master of austerity, is embracing his wife openly in the midst of an assembly of great saints. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Mahavratadara indicates a brahmachari who has never fallen down. Lord Shiva counted among the best of the yogis, yet he embraced his wife in the midst of great saintly persons. Chitraketu appreciated how great Lord Shiva was to be unaffected even in that situation. Therefore, Chitraketu was not an offender. He merely expressed his wonder. See, I just told you, it is that he is like how we are amused sometimes by our kids' innocent acts. Like that, he is a bit amused and astonished by the supreme brahmachari. He is a Mahavratadara. It indicates a first class brahmachari who has never fallen down. That kind of a brahmachari. And embracing. He knows that it is not an embrace out of lack of sense control. That's the point to be noted. Maharaj Chitraketu knew that it's not out of lack of sense control, like how Prabhupada used to say that, men and women do everything in public in the states of America, the streets of America, like animals they behave, like the Prabhupada sometimes have told. No, we are not animals, we have to marry and then live together. This is, not simply embracing someone or in the openly on the roadside, etc., etc. But Lord Shiva was also embracing openly, you know. So here he was not lacking. Now there some people when they embrace shamelessly, they're doing it out of lack of sense control. But animals don't have sense control. They do things in public. But here Lord Shiva was not like that. He's Mahavratadaraha. He's a top class brahmachari. Then how can he act like a person who does not have sense control? Simply acting. He's not actually lost his sense control, but still he's embracing his wife. And he's amazed that, he's embracing the wife where he's actually not lost his sense control. On top of that, he's not affected that people are watching. Just like when Shukadev Goswami was passing by the river, the young girls were taking bath. They continued to take bath. They saw him running, running with the garments of air. He didn't have any other garments on his body. Shukadev Goswami had his garment of air only. And he was going, and these girls also were taking bath, and they did not feel any shame. They went on taking bath. Behind him, the father was coming. My son, my son, my son. When father is coming, the girls felt ashamed and they tried to cover themselves. Why? Because the sense of shame was there in front of a grahastha, but there was no sense of shame in front of a transcendental personality, which even the young girls understood that Shukadev Goswami was transcendental personality. So they were indifferent. Same way, here Lord Shiva, being such a transcendental personality, could embrace the wife Parvati because he was not doing it out of lack of sense control. Because he had no lack of sense control, he was indifferent that people are there. He is just doing the duty of a good husband. That's all, and that too, he's not, he's not doing it out of lack of sense control, and his focus is probably his meeting with the saintly persons. So he was quite indifferent. Seeing that kind of mentality, which are a mixture of very unique, contradictory qualities. Embracing is one thing, and Mahavratadara is another thing. Total contradiction. And to do that activity behind in privacy is a thing, but here in openly, that too in front of great brahmacharis, great austere people, he's doing such a embracing act. Now this was varieties of kind of contradictory things. It brought laughter in Maharaj Chitraketu. So let me see what is coming next. Is this having a big purport or? Yes, I think with this we stop here, and now we are open to questions. Otherwise, Mataji will say that we did too fast. So I don't want to do it too fast. I don't know. I think I was already a little fast because we covered quite a lot of verses because there were no purports. I was told that I should cover 5 purports. I think totally we did only 5 purports. So we stop at this, and now you can ask question answers. I'm open to comments. If I was fast, you can let me know. If I was not fast, then also you can let me know. So I will have an idea like what speed you want. So I spoke slowly, knowing that it's your morning time. And I hope it didn't appear fast this time, because even on the translations we dwelt a little so that you don't feel that it was just spoken and it went out of the head. So we dwelt on the translations also, and the whole summary was today that we should not look for happiness or distress because they're dualities, they're going to be there, and we are supposed to bhakti. You can close this door, the noise is coming in. The thing is, yeah, we should not be looking forward for avoiding distress, or we should not be planning for happiness, but we should be planning for one thing, and that is how in distress or in happiness, how we should use the opportunity to serve Guru and Krishna in a way that pleases them, because our life in this human body is very short, and every day our lifespan is diminishing and we are going closer to death. Therefore, whatever time is left, Bhakti, you close this door. Yes. Thank you. So, our goal is that at any cost, in any situation, how I can behave in a way that pleases Guru and Krishna to the maximum. And we should pray that help me to please you beyond my maximum capacity. Please empower me to please you in a way which is beyond my capacity. Keep these prayers on, and we should never be satisfied with whatever little we do. And we should be always praying for how I can use every situation to please Krishna to our best. That's all. That is a summary. And then we know that how Chitraketu was spoken to by the Supreme Lord, and how, with all the good knowledge in all perfection, as approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's flying on the plane and he laughs, and he's misunderstood by Mother Parvati, and how much respect actually he had for Lord Shiva. All that we saw today. So with that, we end this session. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or comments, you're most welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare
I stop
Krishna,
sharing.
Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. It was a wonderful session, a constant reminder of how we should be thinking of serving the Lord in any situation. That was emphasized, and it was a real good perspective towards looking at the activities in the life. Thank you so much. I just have one logistic question. So tomorrow you stopped at verse 6, right, Mataji, or was 7?
Oh, verse. Oh. I'm so sorry. I have closed the screen. Let me just check 1 minute.
That's
I do
okay,
share
Mataji. I
screen.
think it is 6. I was thinking it is 6. So
No, it is the verse number. We came to the verse number 8.
oh Krishna. Okay, sure, Mataji.
8, Mataji. So tomorrow it will be 9.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yes, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we covered the 8th verse, which had a very small purport, and 9th we didn't do. This is the verse that we did. The word Mahavritadara indicates a brahmachari. So we have done this. It's the verse number 8. Hare Krishna. Yes, if there are questions, please ask. Otherwise, we can end up for the day. And I have many other things to do. I'll continue to do. And you see, this is Vrindavan, Govardhan background. I love this background. So I have put it forever.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Govardhan.
Thank you so much
Dandavat
for
Pranam.
this Victorian class. Yes, Nikunja Prabhu noticed and he told me that Mataji has put the backdrop of Vrindavan. It looks so nice. Thank you for giving that
Nikunja
share.
Prabhu recognized it, huh? Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you for the Vrindavan darshan today.
Yes. Every time you will have this. It's so nice. I really love this. That's why I put it. Yes. So, yes, anybody has any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can end.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Sri Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam, Partha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. It was such a nice class, and your purifying our station is very much appreciated. I have one question. Did Mother Parvati bless Chitraketu with the going back to Godhead, or was it bestowed by Vishnu because Chitraketu was his devotee?
Prabhu, actually, I am yet to read that whole chapter. Actually, I prepared for the previous chapter. Last few minutes, I actually prepared and I could not go through this chapter. So I was surprised that whatever I understood by Guru and Krishna's mercy, same thing was spoken in the next verse. Now, I don't know what is awaiting us next. So I will know when we move forward in the chapter, Prabhu. But it is told in the previous purport that Lord Vishnu wanted him back to Godhead. So whether she blessed him or Vishnu blessed him, it was the plan of Lord Vishnu to have his beloved Chitraketu back.
Okay.
It was his plan. Now, who is blessing that way? Mother Parvati, or on the direction of Lord Shiva, that Mother Parvati blesses him, or it is Lord Vishnu who is taking him back to Godhead. This I don't know, Prabhu. I have to go through the chapter.
Okay, no problem.
Hare Krishna. Anybody has anything? Looks like we have no questions. We will wind up then. You all will save your time and I also will use it for devotional service today.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च
एव च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, अद्वैत अमृत माधवी देवीदासी माता जी की जय।
Jai.
All glory to Srila Prabhupada, all glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for this opportunity. You people are making me dive into Bhagavatam twice a month. It's also good for my own upliftment and purification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And
Hare
You're okay with the speed, Mataji, today?
yes, Mataji. Yeah, there is
Okay.
since there is no purpose, so yeah.